Hello to our 2100 Film supporters. This is Tristan.
This is Gavin.
And today we want to do something a little bit extra. Today we are going to do a tier list for the horror movies that we did get to watch.
Of 2024.
Of 2024. We didn't get to watch all of them this year. I think a big part of that was like, we had just moved to Los Angeles, and this entire year was all about like kind of getting our bearings and learning a lot about the city and spending time to do kind of just things together as well. And so we didn't get to like watch as many as we wanted, but with the movies that we did watch, we're going to rank them from S tier to D tier. So 5 tiers. And
there's some different ones this year. So
Lots
there's
of
some different
ones.
horror movies unlike every other year, I've really been surprised with this year's selection, and I've enjoyed them too. So
yeah, I'm really liking the indie feel.
Me too, yeah.
That you get from some of these movies for sure. A lot of them are what embodies kind of what we do as independent creators, and I think like we're definitely going in the right direction when it comes to indie films and kind of moving away from that corporate feel of the film industry. So I really do appreciate that as well.
There's just been like a bunch of like reused, recycled ones over the years. It feels like so.
Yeah.
This year in particular, I was very pleased with the ones I've watched, and a lot of them I ranked highly. There were some I wish that I could rate them higher, but they just didn't hit the mark for me, unfortunately. And I'm sure you could say the same.
Yeah, I could say the same. I think like a lot of you guys in the comments are probably going to disagree with us, the Winchester brothers, but we are the real Winchester brothers, so everything that we say is correct. So you're going to have to listen to it.
Fuck Sam and Dean.
Yeah. You guys can't compare us to Supernatural anymore. We are like literally the real Winchesters. But anyway, without further ado, this year we watched Abigail.
Yep.
We watched... What? What did I do?
Nothing.
What did I do?
Nothing.
Okay. This year we watched Abigail. We watched...
In a Violent Nature.
In a Violent Nature. We watched Immaculate. We watched The First Omen. We watched Cuckoo. We watched... Or Cuckoo, however the fuck you say it.
Yeah, I say Cuckoo, personally.
Probably
That's
Cuckoo.
just how
We watched The Substance. We
Yep.
watched Maxine, Late Night with the Devil, Strange Darling, and Long Legs. Those are the horror movies we got to see this year. I know there's a bunch of others. We never got to see Terrifier 3. We never got to see The Inheritance. We never got to see Oddity. A bunch of movies that we missed out on this year that we're definitely going to plan to watch. But what we wanted to do was, rank accordingly to the ones that we did see.
Yeah, exactly.
And not be like, oh, we loved Smile 2 when we haven't even seen Smile 1. Let's start with the first one on the list. We have
Abigail.
Abigail. Now,
This one was a fun watch for me. There was a lot of things that I went into thinking, and it just was not,
Yeah. Abigail was like, it's just like, you're done. You don't want to do this anymore.
Imagine.
Abigail was super fun. I think it was like, it wasn't meant to be scary. Obviously, it was meant to be like a fun, exciting, riveting movie.
Kind of like a family feel.
Yeah, and no, but like the cinematography, absolutely stunning. The performances, amazing. We actually saw Melissa Barrera at Monsterpalooza that same year,
cool.
which is really cool to see her. Kevin Durand, we saw him after we watched it at the Grove, which is really cool
Yeah, he was
as
just
well.
in the theater lobby, just chilling.
So we had to see them, and their performance was amazing. Yeah, I think I would rate Abigail a good B.
Yeah, I was gonna say right in the middle because it was like good, but it's not like a horror film I really rate high.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because it wasn't like scary enough, but just because.
It was a feel-good movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a feel-good movie. It was exciting.
You can't rate those any lower than like a B.
No. Next, what is
In a
it?
Violent Nature.
Can't even see it.
And two things I really appreciated about this film was the setting and the kill scenes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, a lot of the time I felt myself kind of just thinking of what I was gonna eat for dinner that night, or just like,
How the fuck do you think about eating during that shit?
well, maybe not eating specifically, but just other things that were going on in my mind.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it was just like walking, and I could appreciate that for what they were trying to do. But other than that, I'll let you give your 2 cents before I give my
Yeah,
rating.
I think like I didn't like it at all. I thought it was awful. I did not like In a Violent Nature. I liked the indie feel for sure. I liked the fact that it was shot on film, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like Strange Darling was shot on film as well. But I didn't like the story. I didn't think it worked. I think it kind of fell flat. That's just my opinion. The kill scenes were fucking absolutely stunning. They're out of this
Oh.
world. They were probably some of the best kill scenes I've ever seen. They were so disturbing. I didn't know that that's what we were going into.
Me neither.
When we were watching the film, like I didn't realize like how much blood, how much gore would be
Mm-hmm.
in there, and it was great. It was almost like gore that like upset my stomach.
Yeah.
And that shit does not happen to me.
It was like kills that you wouldn't like think of on your own. I feel like.
Yeah, but you know, kills and gore are not going to save a movie.
No.
Definitely not the story. Definitely not the plot, and definitely not the performances either. So honestly, in a violent nature, I'd have to. If we're going S to D, I
Probably
honestly
D.
have to say D.
Yeah, that's just how it is, and it's like I appreciate what they were trying to do, but everything other than the location and the kill scenes, it just fell flat for me.
Just not my favorite. Not my favorite. Moving on to Immaculate. I personally loved Immaculate. I liked Immaculate more than The First Omen. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, which is fine. But Immaculate for me was more personal. It felt more personal. Sydney Sweeney's like her whole performance beyond was so surprising to me in the horror genre because we haven't seen her in horror much at all. So that flick of a switch was really intense and really
Yeah.
exciting to see as well. I haven't seen it in a long time again, so I have to see it again. But man, dude, like the personal feel of it, and then the birthing scene, and like the fact she had to like kill this fucking like demented like
Oh, yeah.
demon
That was-
baby at the end of the film. Spoiler warning. We'll put that in the description. I loved Immaculate. I thought it was like a really really cool,
Yeah, me
feel
too.
good, dark, gritty, film, and I think I'd put it at B.
Yeah, I think I agree for sure. I
Yeah.
love Sydney Sweeney in it. Kind of brought like a different type of light to the project. I don't think any other actress could.
Yeah.
It was different for her, and
I just don't think it was like a perfect movie, you know?
no,
Like,
yeah,
It's better than like, The First Omen for sure.
yeah, I agree. I just
Well,
don't have anything.
maybe I'll put it in an A then. Immaculate. If I put Immaculate in A.
Yeah, because I think I let's do A because I definitely think it's. Gonna
I liked
be,
it a lot.
Yeah,
That's just that's the Winchester Brothers' personal opinion there. A lot of people disagree.
it was just good. I don't have anything bad to say about it.
Yeah. Next, The First Omen. I loved it. The First Omen was good.
Yeah.
It was a solid film. Cinematography, great. Performances, amazing. I will say the performances are better than Immaculate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. More intense.
Color scheme, love the color scheme. Gore, although it
Little
was
too
minimal, little too much. You know?
There was a lot of times where I remember I had to like look away, and I just don't like having to do that in a film like too often. So having to do that like countless times, I was like,
I'm not a fan of like pregnancy,
Yeah.
or birthing scenes. I've always been like kind of squeamish with that. Making it, I
it's
can make it.
different.
Watching it, like I don't know. I think like I just like because was kind of turned off with that idea.
Mm-hmm.
But The First Omen, like as a whole, as like a sort of possession demonic type film, I thought it was really really strong.
yeah, it was
know?
good. It was good.
I would put it at B.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, because it's definitely below Immaculate in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a bad film by any means.
Yeah. Moving on to Cuckoo.
Or Kaku. How do you guys say it?
How do you guys say it? I actually want to know. This film was different. It was bizarre. I caught myself at the end like getting a little bit bored, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Hunter Schafer's performance was great. Not like anything stand out, but it was great. Sorry. I will say that like I watched the trailer of this movie so many times because I thought it was so good. But watching the trailer and then watching the movie, I was kind of honestly confused. I thought it was gonna have more of like an infinity pool vibe, like that like extra depth Disturbia that we're looking for, but it didn't. It was more so kind of flat, and the story didn't really make that much sense to me. I could have missed something. I probably did. But, like he said, for In a Violent Nature, I had my mind going in several different places, and I couldn't really stick on it. So for that, I personally would rate it a C. What would you rate it?
I'd probably do the same, to be honest. I feel like a lot of our things are going to be pretty spot on. Because
Yeah.
like I watched the trailer, and I thought I was going to go one way, and I watched the movie, and it went a completely different direction.
Yeah.
And it kind of got to a point where in my head I was confused.
It just wasn't scary to me.
Yeah, it wasn't scary. It was more just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's one of those types of movies.
Yeah, it
You
was
have
just
to
kind of
watch it.
like weird, you know, and it felt like there was no. It did feel like it was all over the place in some aspects, and like the writing could have been probably a little
Cleaned
bit
up
better.
a bit.
Cleaned up for sure. But with that, I think we'll put it at C.
Yeah, I really.
Guys, we look the same, so we're gonna have the same brain.
Plus, I mean, just that we do horror movies together, so I
Yeah.
feel like we're by default gonna have similar opinions on what looks, you know.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I'm leading in you guys. Like I can't even see where the camera
Yeah,
is.
no, I really like the different like feel Kaku went for because
Yeah.
it did have like the indie type of look and
Yeah.
like feel, and I really appreciate that.
Next up is The Substance. Gavin knows where this is going for me.
S tier, and that's for
tier.
me too,
Dude.
For Substance.
The Substance, I don't even know if I can say anything about it. This is the most recent movie that we just watched. It is the best body horror film I've ever seen. It might be the best horror film I've seen of 2024. I think The Substance is so
Yeah.
good. Margaret Qualley's performance, Demi Moore's performance, beautiful. So good. The idea behind The Substance, so good. Riveting to watch, Black Mirror type vibe, which is exactly what my brother and I
Love
are
it.
trying to do in the film industry. Is we like this this minimal space Black Mirror type vibe with long lenses, probe lenses, etc. We love to like kind of highlight those parts of our movies and our short films. Black Mirror is like one of our favorite shows. So there was a beautiful color scheme, the red on the yellows. You know, just certain things that we want to achieve as well in film. And when we saw these things with body horror and
Yeah.
the idea of which the directors, you know, communicated, like Carolyn communicated to the actresses, I just thought it was a beautiful film. What do you think?
There's so many words I could use to describe this film. I don't even have one, but
It's fucked up though.
that's one of them. But I was just amazed by the pacing of this film. I really enjoyed it. It held my attention the whole entire way through, which never happens in any film usually. Usually at some point or another, I'll find myself just kind of dozing off in some capacity, but this one really just was super riveting for me, and especially because I've never seen body horror films too often. Like towards the end of the film, I don't even really know how to describe what I saw, but it made me very like squeamish. It almost made you throw up, you said, right?
Yeah.
So
Dude, I've actually never thrown up ever, but this movie was the first, like at the end, this was the first time I actually felt like I was gonna vomit.
yeah.
Like, and I've never felt that way ever in my life. I was confused because we like working with gore
Yeah.
on set, but it's different when you see it from somebody else's perspective.
It
Like,
is.
it's so different, you know? When you're not the one that made it, when I'm not the one that made it, I think it's disturbing.
Yeah, what I also really liked about this film was how each transition into the old body or into the new, I was excited to see what had happened from just the experience of the other person.
Yeah.
Say like the old or new, you know? So,
Yeah, when I first saw this, I thought it was like a ripoff. I thought it was going to be a ripoff of Divinity
Mm-hmm.
by Eddie Alcazar. Now that I know, now that I watched, Divinity's got nothing on The Substance, man.
Yeah.
This movie is immaculate, as they say.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why it's an S, because
Yeah.
it probably is my favorite for the year just because of everything that went into it. And you
Yeah.
can just tell, oh,
So
dude.
good, bro.
Yeah.
So
watch
good.
it yourself, and
That,
you might
please.
see what I mean. For
We
sure.
also wrote a blog on it, so go check it out on our website. Next, Maxine. It was okay. Like, that's literally what Mike. It was okay.
Yeah.
It was so like one-dimensional. It was such, dude. After watching The Substance and The First Omen and Strange Darling, for example, it's so one-dimensional.
It is.
It's so one-dimensional, bro. It's like location to location to location, kill, kill, kill.
Yeah.
Weird sequence at the end that made no fucking sense with the shootout.
Yeah.
I hated it.
It even feels like, I mean, in my opinion, it is a lot flatter than the first two in the trilogy, which was X, and then Pearl, and then Maxine. But X and Pearl, for me, had a complete different feel
Yeah.
to the story, and it actually like made me want to rate it those both like close to 10s.
Yeah.
But Maxine just felt like it was not at all comparable to those two.
I didn't like it. I mean, I liked it, but it was so flat. I'd call it a C, probably,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
It was a fun watch, but personally, I wouldn't see it again. to be honest. It wasn't anything that grabbed my attention.
I
Unlike
was
the first two.
disappointed because I really wanted to.
Yeah, the first two
like
were
it.
great. I love the first two, and then I was really anticipating this one to be good as well, but it just didn't live up to my hype in my head.
They made that one too complicated. They made it too Hollywood, in
Yeah.
my opinion. It didn't feel like indie anymore.
And notice how that's why it's the worst one.
Yeah.
They tried to
Yeah.
make it too Hollywood.
Yeah, dude, that's what it felt like to me. But next, Late Night with the Devil,
Another cool one.
S tier.
Yeah, gotta be. It was
Late Night
different.
with the Devil, David Duchovny, or however the fuck you say his last name. I'm sorry if I butchered it. I loved it. Your performance was amazing, and there was something about the late night show. Mm-hmm. There was something about integrating a late night show vibe on film that I absolutely loved. And then you go into the black and white cut sequences from the behind the scenes when the late night show would end. And those black and white sequences like in between when there's like the behind the scenes backstage and showing like his frantic like I don't know, I didn't know this was gonna happen, etc. That was awesome. I loved it. That was one of my favorite parts. And then the actual exorcism of the girl as well when she was
in like the chair.
possessed in the chair. That was creepy. There was one scene in particular where I remember like the face of the girl changed, like this crazy demon looking face. And it lasted like 2 seconds, so it almost like beckoned come in here a little bit more. It almost like beckoned the audience to be like, did I really see that? Or am I going crazy? Or what the hell is going on?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
And they did that on purpose. They wanted the audience to feel like they were there at the late night show watching. They want like the whole point was that they wanted us to feel like we were in the seats at the late night show.
Yeah, and the part where they went behind the scenes, it made it feel more realistic to the point where like when you saw them frantically being like, "What's going on? What's happening?" It made the audience feel like they were like with them.
Yeah,
it went through that whole process.
Yeah,
and it just gave me also like a few goosebumps, reminiscent feels through just like.
Oh, I can see that.
Like through certain parts.
Wait, like goosebumps, like
the
like
show.
TV?
Yeah, R.L. Stein, like the show. But yeah, I think it was a solid film. It was different, and that's why I liked it a lot. And it also held my attention the whole way through. So.
Oh, me too. Me too. I mean, there were so many production companies that worked on it as well. Yeah. You could just tell like there was a multi-budget and multi-work production in it.
For sure.
And it showed. And the performances were amazing too. They felt retro.
Yeah.
Felt exciting.
I haven't seen a lot of the people in that before, so it was great.
All right. Second to last, Strange Darling, S tier for me. What do you think?
I'd say A or S.
A tier?
Yeah, I mean.
We'll put it A then.
Well, no, wait, no. Let's do S. I rated it a 10. So
I rated it a 10 as well.
Yeah.
Willa Fitzgerald's performance was, I think, best I saw of the 2024.
Had to be.
Yeah.
Had to be.
Yeah, Willa Fitzgerald's performance was best I saw of 2024. Strange Darling was such a twist of a film. It takes you on a ride that starts out with making you believe that the dude is the one that is the antagonist, right? Like she is the one that's being preyed on. But then it turns out there's a complete 180 switch, and she's actually the one.
Yeah.
That's pursuing him, and then he has to like get his get back and go after her because she fucked him up. We're not gonna tell too much about what happened in the motel room. You have to watch the movie for yourself. But as an indie filmmaker, watching this movie was like gold. This is a gold mine. This is a gold mine, and I love how it started off in these different sequences. At first, I was like confused as fuck. I was like, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah, same.
But then I realized they had to do that to make it work, to make the story revolve,
It made it all that much better too.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Willa's I haven't seen Willa perform since Scream TV show, and I really enjoyed her in that. And so when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, I gotta see it. I gotta see her do it. And she literally blew me away in her performance. And starting off with it being like a whole different film, it seemed like, and then it transitioned into a complete just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was my reaction.
Like her unhinged performance reminded me of Nicolas Cage's in Long Legs.
Yeah.
They were both like perfectly like not themselves.
Right.
And that's what made the film for me, is like how they really, really took that character to heart.
Yeah.
And they completely changed who they were for this movie.
Great isolated location.
Yeah.
And I love those types of films.
It was awesome.
Great film.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit about, It reminded me a little of Don't Move as well, which I saw. He didn't see, so we didn't put it on the list, but it was also great. Produced by Sam Raimi.
Yeah, I still gotta watch that for sure.
And then last, we have Long Legs. And
I'd say this is an A.
I'd say it's an A
me.
too.
I really enjoyed this film. There was some points I could say that felt a little drawn out, or just my attention was lacking. I don't know if that's just me, but
Marketing was on top.
yeah, marketing was on top. I love the performances, love the location. It gave me kind of a Prisoners feel with the mystery, kind of like murder type feel, and the notes and all that. For me, great film.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Not much for me to say about it, to be honest. We saw it quite a bit ago, but I will say that the end part, I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of it. I thought that Long Legs was gonna take it in like a different direction with Nicolas Cage. I didn't think like, he was gonna, die at the end or die like kind of immediately. And I didn't really like the possessed doll part at the end. I feel like we see so many possessed doll movies and whatever, and like, okay, that's why it was making him crazy or whatever the fuck. It wasn't like my favorite like kind of twist at the end.
Yeah.
I didn't really enjoy that part. But what I did enjoy was the performances. Nicolas Cage, amazing. He definitely like creeped some people out for sure, from what I've heard. But again, like it was a solid film. Mika Monroe's performance was great.
Yeah.
The last time I saw her was It Follows, which was also amazing. So yeah, I don't know. Long Legs is an A for me. I think it hit all the marks in indie cinema.
Yeah.
Just great performances by everybody. Dull, kind of creepy color scheme, and then sound design was beautiful on it as well.
Yeah,
I
great.
love the sound design, and
And like
yeah.
that stalker kind of feel to it too.
yeah,
So, good film. Not the best I've seen this year, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah.
It's up there.
So, yeah, guys, those are the films that we got to see in the theater this year. Let us know if you agree or disagree with the list. If you agree, hit that thumbs up. If you don't, talk to us in the comments. Talk to each other in the comments and debate. We love debates.
Yes.
And keep watch for our new movie called The Face with Mr. Smile. That's coming out at the end of next year or the beginning of 2026. We secured our budget on that film, and we are currently in pre-production. And we start to build a bigger team before the end of the year, which we're very, very excited for. So, for all those details, keep up with our social media. But for now, thank you so much for watching our tier list for the movies that we saw in 2024. And once we watch the new ones, we'll create an updated one, hopefully before the end of the year. If not, we'll do it in January for the new year.
Yeah.
So,
But we'll definitely watch a few more and add them to the list. And then 2025, we'll see what brings for horror films.
yeah,
It's
including
exciting.
ours.
Yeah, of course.
Including ours.
Of course.
You guys need to definitely stay up on The Face. It's coming, and it's going to be big. Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for watching the Winchester Brothers take on independent horror films.
Yep, let us know
Not-
yours.
Not all independent, but and let us know your favorites. Jesus Christ. You can tell I've been talking too much. All right. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Peace, you guys.